Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. We've all wondered what it actually takes to build a video game completely from scratch, right? Well, today we're diving into the raw, absolutely unfiltered roadmap of a dev duo known as 18bytes. We are going to track their intense, 2-month quest to build a game called Treasure Hunter right inside the Gandhi IDE. Let's get right into it.
So, how do two developers build an entire game world from scratch in just under 2 months? I mean, when you play a finished game, it honestly feels like magic. But the reality behind the scenes, it's a total masterclass in project management. We're going to break down 18bytes' exact roadmap to see exactly how they divide their time, share the workload, and, crucially, pace themselves to actually cross that finish line.
Okay, right at the start, our developers, Virat and Kohli, they use a classic divide and conquer strategy to set up their foundation. Between August 10th and 15th, Virat focuses strictly on sprite design, which takes him about 3 days, while Kohli spends 4 days meticulously crafting the backdrops. By splitting the visual design into parallel tracks right out of the gate, they literally double their efficiency. It's a textbook way to leverage individual strengths and avoid those frustrating early bottlenecks.
Now, once that foundational art is locked in, everything shifts. From August 16th to the 20th, they go into this intense 4-day collaborative sprint. Virat and Kohli just tag team tasks 2 through 4 as a totally unified front. I'm talking rapid fire execution here. They knock out basic scrolling, home screens, core animations, and character abilities. In just 4 days, they take static art and breathe life into a functioning prototype. That is no small feat. With the prototype actually moving, they start deepening the worlds. And they do this in 3 very distinct steps. Step 1 is the text engine and dialogue animation, basically giving the characters a voice. Step 2 is programming NPC abilities, so they can populate the world with active threats. And finally, Step 3 covers the UI bars. Your health, your stamina, all the vital survival info the player absolutely needs to see. But man, look at the relentless pacing required to actually build out those layers. A text engine is notoriously complex, right? That eats up an entire week of joint effort from August 21st to the 27th. Then, NPCs take another 4 days. Finally, Virat flies completely solo for the first week of September just to code the UI bars. This wraps up the first half of development on September 7th, and it really proves just how much raw stamina goes into building these underlying game systems. But then, right in the middle of this completely grueling roadmap, we arrive at a really important number: 3. Before diving into the heaviest coding of the entire project, 18bytes brings development to a complete and total halt for exactly 3 days. Now, when you're staring down a massive project, the temptation is to just keep pushing, right? Keep pushing until you crash. But the strategically placed break between September 8th and 11th, it is a vital lesson in creative management. Listen, even game developers need a breather before facing the final boss of complex game logic. By actively scheduling this downtime, they guarantee they have the mental clarity required for the second half of the journey. Burnout is real, and this is exactly how you beat it. So, fully rested, the duo launches into the climax, Half 2. Starting September 12th, for 9 solid days, Virat and Kohli dedicate themselves entirely to architecting the main coding structure. Think of this as the central nervous system of the game. It's the vital code that finally wires the scrolling, sprites, UI, and text engine together into one cohesive, playable experience. It's their longest single task, and they tackle the whole thing side by side. Which leads right into their own internal final boss, programming the game's actual climactic encounter. From September 21st to the 24th, they dedicate a protected 4-day block purely to making boss battle. And that really shows you how critical this phase is. It tests the absolute limits of their mechanics, forcing them to combine complex NPC logic, unique animations, and damage calculations all at the exact same time. And finally, they don't just stop when the code runs. They dedicate an entire block, from September 25th all the way to October 5th, purely for polish. They meticulously apply finishing touches, fully integrate the story, and even build a help book to guide new players. It's a really great reminder. A project isn't finished just because it works under the hood. It's only really finished when the user experience is seamless. Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. Watching 2 dedicated developers methodically conquer the Gandhi IDE in 2 months, literally breaking massive goals into daily tasks, sharing the load, and strictly scheduling their rest, it leaves us with an inspiring question. When you face your next big creative endeavor, what will your roadmap look like?
Structure your ambition, pace your efforts, and hey, your treasure just might be a completed project. Thanks for joining me, and I'll catch you next time.